Another word that appears in the German list and not in the English list is Ferien, vacation. Isn't that amazing? Because I thought that was so interesting.
No way.
It does not, holiday
wow.
or vacation does not appear in the most commonly used words.
Wow.
500 most commonly words in the English language. And
that's disturbing.
It's just, right? So I thought that was just...
Now you know why I don't live in my passport country.
Yeah, and that is exactly... And I was like, yeah, that totally makes sense. You've made a mess of me.
Welcome to the Geopats Language Podcast, where we learn about the world through the different languages that people learn and their language stories. In today's episode, I am thrilled to talk to another Stephanie. I'm talking to Steph Cook from the Transcontinental Overload blog and podcast, a wonderful expat podcast. And I have to say that because I was on there recently, but actually I was listening for quite a while before that. So I'll put a link in the show notes to my own episode. And so the double Steph experience can be a double episode. Her episode with me and my episode with her, which is this one right here. Who is Steph Cook? Steph was born in Munich, Germany, and she lived in the UK in her 20s. She met her English husband, had 2 kids, and 10 years ago, they moved to California. For the past 4 years, however, they've been living in Austin, Texas, which is where she is right now. She loves languages and multicultural living, and I think all of that will definitely come out in this episode. This episode is a little bit different because instead of just interviewing Steph about her language story, which she promises to come back and do at some point, yay, I'm taking 3 of the things that I found confusing, curious, or interesting in my own German language learning journey, and I'm asking her, a native German speaker, what she thinks of them or what kind of insight she can provide to them. And her answers are very, very surprising. Okay, let's jump into the questions that I have for Steph about things that I find very curious about the German language so far. Okay, this is going to sound a little weird, but thank you, Stephanie, for joining us on the language show of the Geopats podcast.
It can only be good. Yeah.
A little context for the listeners. Steph actually interviewed me for her podcast a few days ago. And just before the interview, I was studying my German and thought, what am I doing? I'm talking to a German native speaker in a few hours. I need to pick her brain on these questions I have right now. So I sent the questions to her. But of course, just with the first interview, we talked so long that we were both so exhausted that we scheduled a second time to chat, and that is right now. So what's in this mini episode is going to be some ponderings I've had over the past, I would say, 3 months of very slowly, very on and off studying German. Let's introduce you and your podcast.
All right. So, yes, I'm Steph, and I recently launched a podcast called Transcontinental Overload. I actually have a blog of the same name that I've been writing for the last 10 years. And it's 10th anniversary this year, which is why I created the podcast to celebrate. I started writing that when I first left the UK. So I'm originally from Germany, but moved to the UK and then 10 years ago to the States. And I kind of felt like I needed to do something. And then, this time last year, I started thinking I really want to exchange stories and not just write about what I've been doing and my thoughts, but actually hear other people's and then share those. So that's where the podcast idea came from. They can find all of my stuff at transcontinentaloverload.com. You can find my blog, my podcast as also like a little thing that you can click if you want to get in touch, if you want to be a guest on the podcast. I'm on Twitter as Overloaded Steph. And I have a Facebook page too. It's also Transcontinental Overload.
So Steph, are you ready for some of my weird ponderings?
Absolutely. And I love ponderings on language and on the German language in particular, because it's something I don't normally have to consider, what German is like for foreign language learners. So it's always interesting to actually dive into my own language.
Sweet. Can we assume correctly that your first language was German?
Yes, it was.
Cool. And what other languages do you know?
So I learned English in school, but not until I was think in 7th grade. So my first language was Latin. So I learned Latin in fifth grade, age 11, which is very tough, but a wonderful basis for everything else. And I think it really helped me to pick up other languages. And I did study French in school. I think year 9, 9th grade, something like that. And then I loved languages, always did. And I went on to study languages. So with English and French as my major foreign languages. And then I wanted to learn Spanish. And I taught myself the basics, moved to Spain for a summer so that I could go into the advanced class at my language school because I didn't want to start from scratch. And so I did that.
Smart.
So I do, theoretically, I have French and Spanish too, although they're both a little bit rusty these days, I guess. I always feel like it would come back if I lived in those countries. I could probably, I was almost fluent in French, and I'm not these days. And Spanish, I think I'm quite confident reading it, but I don't speak it very well.
So I always love noticing the first words that I hear a lot of. When I was in Argentina, quiero was one of them, and necesito, and there's always words that just I was like, okay, what's that? I'm looking it up, and I know that one because that's like every third word is that word. When I came to Germany, genau, noch, doch, which I still don't fully understand those two, but that's fine. Genau is easy. And I'm wondering, even though you studied English at school, what were the words that you noticed that were used really frequently? Well, you were first in the UK and then now you're in the US. So when you first moved to the UK, do you remember it all? Like, what were the words that you heard really often?
It's a good question. Very good question. It actually had to really look up some word lists because I actually don't think there's a big difference. So it wasn't like, oh my God, that word, what is it? But I think the difference is also that I had studied English extensively before I went to the UK. So I was a fully trained translator before I went to the UK. Oh. So it wasn't like it was hitting the UK was hitting me with all these words that I didn't know because I just sounds really horrible to say I knew most of them. But the only difference was the way they were said and the way they were used and the pronunciation, because that's not necessarily something that you prepared for even though I was trained by native speakers, it's a very different experience when you're actually in the country and people, especially like Southeast England and London, you've got the Cockney rhyming slang and just the Southeast pronunciation of things. And so it's very unique and I'd never heard anything like it. But I can't say that I can really see a big difference in the words used. I did look up like the 500 most commonly used words in both languages though, because I was really interested about the question was like, and I was like, is there a difference? And actually I looked up that list and it's pretty identical. But what I found interesting, there's 3 words that appear on the German list that are not on the English list of the 500.
Oh.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Okay.
So there are 3 words I noticed were on the German, even within the first like 100 most commonly used words, and they don't appear on the English list, not even within the 500 words. And I thought that was interesting. And one word is Fahrrad, which is bicycle.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Well,
wow.
But people, I think in general, cycle a lot more than people in America, in the States.
If it's a country by country, but certain cities.
And in the UK, you have cities like Oxford and Cambridge where everyone bikes. But I thought that was interesting. Sure. And I kind of generally feel there's more cycling going on in Germany. So that was interesting. Yeah. Another word that appears in the German list and not in the English list is Ferien, vacation. So isn't that amazing? Because I thought that was so interesting.
No way.
It does not, holiday or vacation does not appear in the most commonly used words. Wow. 500 most commonly words in the English language. And
that's disturbing.
It's just, right? I thought that was just
now you know why I don't live in my passport country.
Yeah, and that is exactly. And I was like, yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, the other word that was in that list, and I thought that was really interesting, was the word police appears in the German most commonly. Yeah, but not in English. So Polizei is used way more in the German language than police is in the English language.
That is very strange. That one I find very hard to believe.
Yes,
but wow.
But yes, so
wow.
Vacation. Yeah, that just shows.
So who put out this list? Where is it from?
There are various lists. Curious. I looked at a few. I went completely nerdy and went into
You did. Yeah. You did more research than I did for this.
Well, I did because I honestly couldn't answer the question without any research, because I was like, I don't think there's a big difference between those words.
Well, just like in your day-to-day or even pre-COVID day-to-day existence in the US versus your day-to-day when you lived in Germany ages ago, can you think of any words that you might hear or use that in one place, not another? I mean, obviously the translation of the word.
I think, I mean, obviously the in the US, especially, to greet someone or just talk to someone with how's it going or how are you doing? How are you doing? You even say that to the person at the cash register in the supermarket. You would never say that in Germany to a cashier. You wouldn't say, oh, how's your day going? They would just look at you like you'd lost your mind.
And they have.
So, so I think even though, I knew obviously what those words meant, I didn't know that that's what you used or you had to use in your kind of daily life a lot. Just to not say, when someone says, hey, hi, to not just kind of nod at someone, but to actually engage and say some things like, how's it going? How are you doing? How's your day? And have a nice day and enjoy the rest of your day, and that kind of stuff. So all these things that don't really mean anything. They don't mean, it's not like people here really want to know, but it's just something that you have to get used to saying. And that was completely new to me, coming from Germany. And even in the UK, it's very normal to fluff up your conversations and to use little I thought I was in heaven moving from Germany and moving to the UK, but then coming here was a revelation. So, but it's like, and going back to Germany, although things have changed there as well. So people are a lot more friendly compared to when I left over 20 years ago. But yeah.
I just want to pop in for a minute with a couple of announcements about what we're doing on the Geopats Language Podcast, as well as all of the other Geopats podcasts. Geopats Podcast has split up into a number of different podcasts. For example, Geopats Language, which you're listening to right now, Geopats Podcasting, which is about where we learn about the world through podcasters and podcasting. Geopats Books, which used to be Bookish Expats, where we learn about the world through books. You see where this is going. Geopats Coffee, where we learn about the world through coffee. Blah, 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 blah. The Changing Scripts YouTube channel is now revamped, and it is now the Geopats Language YouTube channel. And that's where I am putting my own language learning journey, my updates, my challenges, all the kinds of things I was doing with the Changing Scripts YouTube channel when I was learning Mandarin Chinese, I'm now doing in German. Not in German, in English about German, with some German mixed in. And I will eventually, hopefully sooner than later, get back to Mandarin Chinese. And inevitably, there's comparisons that I do with the learning that I did with Mandarin Chinese and the language itself and of German. So I hope to have more of those dual language learning experiences going on there too. I will put that in the show notes, of course. And so therefore, I have a quick request for you. We have started a Steady account, which is like Patreon, but it's based in Berlin, Germany, and it has some different features from Patreon. There's a level of professionalism I want to bring the podcast to, and those are beyond the free services that I've been using. I do detail more of these stream tools and the basic services that I need to run the podcast over on the Steady account, so you can check the link down below and get all of that information there. however you can, if you can. I really appreciate your financial support. So thank you so much for coming along with this language journey with us. Let's get back to the episode. So the next question, in my German class that I was in before classes were no more, we had, that range of things like good to bad kind of thing, right? So we had super and fantastic and gut. And then we got to okay. And I thought, wait, what the heck is the German word for okay? Because that just looks like okay in English. So I still have the lingering question of, is there an actual word for okay? Because so is negative. Yeah. And okay is not. So yeah.
Okay is okay. And you can absolutely use it. It is really the most used expression. And it is what it is. It's okay. It's not good, not bad. And
but is there a German word that means okay that's just not used?
So you can say, it's more like not just a word, but a little expression. So you can say geht schon. It's going. Geht.
Oh, okay.
Geht schon. It's going, basically.
Yeah.
Or geht klar. That's another one.
Okay.
Geht klar. But you wouldn't necessarily say that about how you're feeling. So So you can say, is that okay with you to do this? And then you can say, geht klar.
Yeah.
And another expression for geht schon. So in that, again, varies from where you are in the country. So in Bavaria, you can also say passt schon. Which passen is to fit.
Yeah.
So instead of geht schon or geht schon, you can say passt schon. But that's very Bavarian. So passt schon, you immediately out yourself as a southerner. So
see, I know zero French, but that sounds French to me.
That's interesting.
That's probably not an accident, right?
Possibly not. No. Yeah, passt schon. And then also that varies with the dialects, but pretty much you are completely fine with okay. And just say it more German. So don't say okay, you say okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Germans also like to, if you want to say okay with a more positive spin, you can say okay. And if it's more negative or like slightly, it's like okay. So it's really. And you've probably noticed that there's some things like Germans like to sing words instead of just saying them. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Tschüss.
Yeah.
I have noticed the rainbow of tschüss. And I stupidly texted, voice messaged a few friends of mine. And I'm like, okay, so there's a lot of emotion in tschüss. Like I'm hearing so many different versions and they're like, okay, is that different than goodbye in English?
Oh, yes.
And I'm like, no, not really. But I'm not used to hearing tschüss. So for me, it sounds weird to have a heartbeat in it.
I tell you what, and it's on the phone. When you're on the phone and in the US especially, you can talk to someone or leave a message. Sometimes it's like you leave a message on the answer phone. You say blah 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 blah. Okay, bye, and you just finish the conversation like that. You just say okay, bye, and it's totally fine. There's nothing abrasive or anything. It's like all right, bye, or bye. You would never say tschüss. You would never do that because that would be so rude. Like tschüss is you cannot say tschüss. It doesn't. You can't do it in a short way.
No. And I've noticed even in like public places where there's like 2 or 3 customers or something, or doctor's office or whatever, when somebody who's been sitting there the whole time and you've not chatted with them, when they go in and they're done and they paid and whatever and they're about to leave, they'll say tschüss to the entire room. Yes. And I'm like, but we didn't even make eye contact. I mean, it's sweet. I do not resist friendly people, but I'm just like, oh, okay. I got it. I'll do that now. But
absolutely. And it's very common to, especially if you're waiting at the doctor's and if you enter the waiting room, you say good morning or to everyone. It's part of it's etiquette. And it's so funny because I don't think they don't do that in the UK, even though the UK usually has way more etiquette and things that you have to do, and they always say how rude the Germans are, but it's actually not true. And it's so normal. Or if you get into an elevator, it's normal to say, or to just nod at people and say, yeah,
Hello. I don't think I've been in many.
I don't think,
elevators in
the funny
Berlin
thing is
yet.
it doesn't happen when it's only one person.
Yeah.
So come to think of it, that's too personal. Come to think of it,
Polite in numbers.
If someone's riding the elevator and you enter the elevator, I don't think you have to say hello. I think that's too like, whoa, what does he want? But if it's several people, it's totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's really
German
funny.
is a very strange language, I think.
No, not at all. Every well, let me rephrase that. Every language is strange, and within every language and every culture, there's a range of ways that things are done. With the language. So,
and we could probably spin this out and talk about this for hours.
Ad nauseum. Okay, so the next question. So I know beautiful, and I know ugly. I forget ugly, but I used to know the word for ugly. And the other day, my husband and I were walking down the street, and there was this little girl that was dancing down the street, and she was adorable. And I really wanted to say she is cute in German, and I did not know the word. And my husband swore up and down it was it süß, is sweet? And he said it was that, and I just died laughing because she just turned into a pancake for me because the pancake's sweet. And I'm like, is that really true? Is like a person being cute, like sweet, like a dessert?
Oh, yes. He's absolutely right.
What?
And
I'm not telling you.
That's really the first word that comes to mind when I see or hear cute is süß. And we would even, it's like growing up, teenager, and you would kind of look at this boy over there and someone would be like, oh, der ist so süß. Even like a teenage boy would be described as süß.
Yeah,
absolutely. I don't know if that's still the case or if they have something else going on now. I haven't lived there for so long. I don't know, but that was definitely a word we'd use. But there is a whole range of expressions and words you can use instead of süß. And it always depends on the context. So I like to use this one website, and I can't think of it now. It's Leo. It's an online dictionary. And I literally, I kind of came to I made my own little list of words to use for cute. And then I typed in cute into the Leo translation website. And it was funny because it listed, like on the left, it said cute, like 10 times cute. And then every time was a different word in German. So there's it was lovely. It's a really nice screenshot.
Wow.
I can actually send you the screenshot maybe because it's just so funny.
That'd be great.
Because it's like there's one word in English. And then there's like a gazillion words in German, which is so interesting because I think English has more words than German, but yeah, obviously. And so, yes, you could have said goldig, which is like, I don't know even what that translates as. It's like, it's not golden, but goldig, or niedlich. Niedlich.
Yeah.
And then putzig. That's another word.
See, that one sounds negative to me.
Putzig, however, putzig you could only use with an animal. It's like you would use that with like a small animal doing something cute.
Okay.
And niedlich and goldig, to an extent also, like small children, cute kittens, that kind of stuff. Another word is knuffig. And you might
I like the sound of that one.
And knuffig is a word that is not really used in the South. So I would never, ever say knuffig to anything. But you could say knuffig. You can say that for people. And knuffiger Typ. It's like, it's kind of a cute guy. But you could also say it for something that's just comfy. So I've looked at the context when you can use it, and I've come to the conclusion, and I might be wrong, but my impression is that it's a word that you can use for something that is huggable. So something
that makes sense,
something that is kind of cozy that you can snuggle up to, or that was my impression of knuffig.
Like a teddy bear in English.
Yeah.
Like if you say, oh, he's such a teddy bear, then it is, you are comparing it to a
so
stuffed
that was
animal,
my kind of my impression. But I mean, I could be wrong. And I've lived outside of Germany for so long now that sometimes my own radar and sense of the language is questionable. So
language goes on when we leave. Yeah, then you probably know more about American slang right now than I do.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but that's a whole other. My kids would disagree. There's
a climb. They know this much, you know this much, I know this much.
Absolutely. But yes, there's so many words. And then there's the other one is herzig. Herzig is like, It's like cute heart. You know, you kind of see little
Aw.
hearts. But also, I think more used with maybe something cute, like a little child does something cute. And then the other thing is when you want to say a cute dress. Oh, your dress is really cute. You wouldn't say süß or knuffig or anything. You would say nett. Nettes Kleid. That's a cute dress.
Okay.
So nett.
Yeah.
And
So it's very specific.
it's very specific. But that's why there's just so many. And it's just süß is 90% of the cases it's the right word to use.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, and I've forgotten the best one, and that might make you giggle too. I also don't really use it, but if someone uses it, I know exactly what they mean, and it's similar to knuffig, and it is schnuckelig.
How did you know that was going to make me laugh?
Just thinking,
say that again.
schnuckelig.
Schnuckelig.
Yeah.
Schnuckelig. It reminds me of Snuffleupagus.
So there is something very, you get a sense, schnuckelig.
That's funny. And when is that one used? Is that a
Also
person
kind
or
of,
a thing,
schnuckelig, I guess.
Wow.
Schnuckelig. I have to think about that when you, it's a feeling. It's very much a feeling.
Yeah.
It's very much a feeling and so richtig schnuckelig. Das war so richtig schnuckelig. That was so kind of nice and cozy and
That's so funny. You realize next week when I hear this out in public, when I'm eavesdropping, because I do that, I'm going to send you a message going, I just heard it.
Yeah. So,
and the people next to me.
They would be like, what? What's that? So I would say, I mean, all these are not used as much as süß, but they exist and I think they're great.
Sure.
I mean,
no, I love specific words. Love it, love it. Final question, because I love writing and 10 years of blogging, you clearly do too. What keyboard do you use? Are you using a German keyboard or an English keyboard?
I use an English keyboard, and I actually have used an English keyboard from the start because my first laptop I bought in the US. I was visiting and I didn't have my own laptop, and I was using the library laptop or computer at university, and I wanted my own, and I was visiting the States and I bought one. And it was cheaper there than and I at the time I wasn't aware that you could actually change your keyboard with certain settings. You can change it even though the letters say something different, because it's the Y and the Z or the Z that is different, and then some of the umlauts, the U and the Ö and the E. But I have learned how to type those on my English keyboard, so I'm fine. And I've only ever used that, and I write mostly in English anyway. So it's always been the English one for me. And sometimes when I'm staying in Germany with someone and I don't have my laptop and I have to use theirs, it does take me a while to get used to the German keyboard. But I don't struggle with it so much, and I think it's pretty much like driving. So I'm very used to driving on the left-hand side of the road, or it doesn't bother me that much. It always takes just a few minutes of where am I? What am I doing? What is this? And then I'm just, I think my brain has just learned to deal with that. So
Yeah. I'll never forget when I was backpacking and I was in Prague, the hostel had, that just row of internet computers, and the period and the comma were switched. And I swear I look like an idiot. I had to reread emails and go back and delete because it just looked like I just had like my entire email was a giant comma splice. And I'm like, what just happened? And I don't think I realized for like the first 3 or 4 emails. And then I'm like, why do I seem like an idiot in these emails? What is happening? And I'm like, different keyboards. Hadn't really thought about that before. But
I've had those experiences too, though. Like writing my thesis, I think I had to go in and replace all. When you find something and it's like, I just did it wrong every single time. So I'm just, there's ways around it, but that's fine. But also, did you know that especially the comma and the period or full stop are used in the opposite way in German with numbers?
I'm getting a sense of that now. Yeah. And the period after first, second, third really throws me. I want the sentence to be over. Yeah. So yeah, I'm getting right now. I'm doing a lot more of the passive. I'm probably like low A2 kind of thing. So I'm getting more of the passive learning stuff going on. But I have noticed, because I love reading and writing, I have noticed that punctuation is extremely different.
Yeah, I actually had a German translations a few years ago where I sent it off, and because I typed it on the English with the English keyboard, the punctuation was English, and they actually sent some back and said, you might want to look into your German punctuation rules again. And I was like, oh no. And yes, because the just all sorts of things are different, and I had completely ignored that, forgotten about that. So but so there's lots of things to look out for beyond the words.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good name of a book. Beyond the words.
Oh.
Take it and run. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Are you still doing translation work now?
I'm not currently doing it. I could always get back into it, but at the moment, because I'm writing so much and working on the podcast and editing a lot, so I spend a lot of time at my desk. And I felt like when I was doing translation work, I did not want to spend any more time sitting in front of a screen. And translation work also it's the kind of work that you get it and people want you to do it like within 24 hours. And so it's very hard to do part-time, just do a few hours a day. That doesn't ever happen. So you get a translation and you there's nothing else you can do. You have to translate. And it just I kind of felt I wanted to do other things sitting at my desk. So I'm not currently doing anything.
Yeah.
And I've noticed how my German is getting worse because I'm not translating. So yes, there is that. It's a great way to stay connected with the language. So I have to make more of an effort. True. I love to listen to German audiobooks and read the German paper and things like that, just to stay connected.
You've got to keep it alive. Yeah. Yeah. When I first started teaching English, I was teaching mostly beginner classes, and I had to go and read the most highfalutin stuff I could find afterwards just to keep the bigger words in, because I loved my students. I loved teaching, but I could not retain my own language. I was just like, it wasn't even a different language. It was just a very basic form.
And it's so nice to listen to very clever people in your own language use beautiful words, and you think, yes, that's how I imagine myself speaking. Not, but yeah, it's a good practice. But it's very normal. I read as well that it's very normal to lose some of your language. The more other languages creep in, and your brain just is only, we haven't. I think unless you've been conditioned from a very young age. With the languages, I think it's one of those things. You can't do it all perfectly, and that's fine. Oh yeah. And most polyglots are only good at a few, and then they'll know bits of other languages. And I think they said, I don't know, there's been all kinds of polyglot studies, but I think they said 7's kind of the max that you can be fluent at. And the brain just really doesn't do more. And it's interesting. When I studied interpreting, I did some like simultaneous interpreting techniques and things, which is
that's so
crazy.
hard.
That's what I wanted to do when I was like 22. I thought I was going to go and be one of those people at the, in the EU. Sitting in and it's just too crazy. But I was studying with a girl who she had 4 languages. I think she lived in Switzerland, and so she spoke French, Italian, and German fluently, and she had English at a very high level, and she couldn't do it. She could not do any. She was like, her brain exploded. She couldn't do it. And she was like, I can't believe this. I speak all those languages fluently. Yeah. And I'm perfectly happy switching in between them, but she couldn't do it. It was interesting to see because she was amazing. I mean, everyone's like, oh my God, you don't even have to study. You can just, no, she couldn't do it.
Yeah. I interviewed a Chinese interpreter. She had been doing it so long, and she was so ridiculously talented at communicating. I don't even want to stick one language onto it because there are a number of them, that she said she was getting a little bored. So her latest challenge was not just to get the meaning across, but to get the speaker's style in the other language as she was simultaneously translating.
Wow.
And all I could think is, how am I interviewing you? I am not worthy.
Wow.
Like, how? I never even knew that was the goal of anybody. I just thought, get the meaning out. Get the meaning. It's happening so
hard
fast,
enough
right?
to kind of get the facts in there.
Oh, man.
Let alone the grammar, let alone the style. Wow.
Yeah. I was
amazing.
floored. Mm-hmm. And she was annoyed that it was taking a while to get good at it. And I'm like, no. I think that's amazing.
I have to say, I've never felt more kind of alive than when, like, in those training sessions that we had, and we had like mock conferences and things to practice, and you are on fire. Like, your brain is, you could feel your brain, every single cog is working and turning, and it's just crazy. And it gives you an amazing buzz. It's like you just, wow. But afterwards, you are so drained, and very often you don't retain anything that you've said, anything that you've translated. It's almost like you're a medium, and it passes through you. And it's the craziest experience ever. And I just knew I couldn't sustain that professionally. I couldn't ever do that.
Wow.
So I'd never pursued it further. But yeah, I have the absolute utmost respect for people who are good at it.
Working and roll through streets, picking up garbage every day since I've been here with you, picking up knowledge, hauling trash to the yard, taking class at my college, very deep garbage heap. I can't sleep. You've made a mess of me. You've made a mess of me. Of me. You've made a mess of me. I won't take another dirty job. Thought you were the kind of girl to take your tea out in the garden, spill your cup. Now I'm stuck cleaning up, begging your pardon. Your debris clear to me. Now my heart is starting to harden. Every drink makes me think of the stink. You've made a mess of me. 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 I won't take another dirty job. You've made a mess of me. You've made a mess of me. You've made a mess of me. Oh no, you've made a mess of me. I won't take another one of yours. You've made a mess of me. You've made a mess of me. Oh no, I won't. You've made a mess of me. You've made a mess of me. I won't take another dirty job.
Also, it's interesting because so you just called me Stephanie, and I am so used to be called Steph, Steffi, Steffi, which is the German one, or Stephanie. And there's so many different.
What do you prefer to be called?
So, that's a very interesting question because I kind of feel like I have different names in different countries. I'm most comfortable with Steph. And that's, I think, when I first moved away from Germany, where I was always Steffi or Stephanie in, that always kind of made me feel like I was at work. So office kind of thing. And then in the UK, they like to shorten people's names to a one-syllable one. And so I became Steph, and I kind of like that. That suited me, and I'm very happy with that.
When I was teaching Spanish students, they don't really have words that start with S, so I was Steph.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do the PH very well, so I was a step. And I'm like, okay, I know what you mean. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Yeah. I was a Steffi. A Steffi, they could say that was a good one, and that was fine by me too. But these days I'm also fine with Stephanie. I'm probably grown up enough now to be a Stephanie.
It definitely depends on the context.
Absolutely,
definitely for sure. For years, I went without knowing other Steph or Stephanies. And all of a sudden, I've met you and about 3 or 4 other women just within a few podcast groups that I'm in. And actually, my German course online right now has 2 other Stephanies in it. And I'm like, oh, what is happening? Yeah. It's just like all of a sudden, there's other me's.
It's a nice name. It's a nice name. I think I when I was in school, there were lots of them. And I think it was just maybe the fashion at the time. And so I didn't really appreciate it. But yeah, I'm happy with my name these days, especially as there are so many ways to say it. And so it's nice.
Membership fees apply after free trial. Cancel anytime.
You know what's wrong with health and fitness? You weaponize it against yourself. Why didn't you go to the gym today? You're so lazy. Why did you eat that? You have no self-control. Stop it. At Beachbody, we think training and caring for your body in a way that works best for you should be about loving yourself. Let us help you without all the judgment. Here's how. Go to beachbody.com to claim your free membership and start feeling great.
This summer, when you're on the go, stay connected to what matters most with access to over 3 million Cox Wi-Fi hotspots. Learn more at Cox.com.
Ask Ashley the podcast is sponsored by Cox.